Good evening and welcome to this edition of News Hour on the SLBC. I am Kojo Kwafu. Coming up in the program tonight, President Bio launches distribution of free education core textbooks in Kono District. Gavi Fund through UNICEF supports the Ministry of Health and Sanitation with solar refrigerators and ambulances. Civil society calls for legislation on cyber security in Sierra Leone. And Parliament summons contractors and project consultants for the construction of the Technical Institute in Pujehun. All these stories and more are lined up in tonight's edition of The Weekend News. This is News Hour on the SLBC. President Julius Maada Bio has stated that his administration will correct the historical injustice to Kono District by contributing to the human capital development of its indigents. He made the statement when launching the free education core textbooks, teaching and other learning materials at the Koidu Government Girls Secondary School. He called on parents to encourage their children to benefit from the free quality education program. Hawa Mosiri reports.
Pupils of the Koidu Girls Secondary School we are so excited to witness the launching ceremony of the core textbooks, teaching and other learning materials by President Julius Maada Bio in their school. These pupils can only express their thanks and appreciation to the President by saying, "President Bio, we love you." Principal of the Koidu Girls Secondary School, Bernadette Suri, noted that the free quality education program is a laudable venture in reducing the burden on the parents. Madam Suri disclosed that President Bio's action in developing the human capital is a step in a right direction. Adding that over the years, schools have been empty, but with the implementation of the free quality education, schools are now overpopulated. Commenting the new direction's administration efforts in the area of human capital development, District Council Chairman Sir Solomon Bundu described President Bio as a man with action, as this has been the first government to provide free quality education for pupils across the country. He called on parents to encourage their children to benefit from the opportunity. Deputy Minister of Basic Education Emily Gogra said the core textbooks and learning materials are meant for pupils to use in schools, as our government has put strategies in place for all schools across the country to benefit. She told the gathering that since the New Direction administration took office last year, her ministry has also approved schools and teachers for more pupils to benefit from the free quality education.
Over the years, our classrooms have been empty. I've been a teacher before. Now our schools are going to be equipped with teaching and learning materials, with textbooks that the teachers can consult, with textbooks that the school pupils can use over the years. We are so fortunate to have a father, to have a president that has passion for education.
Launching the core textbooks at the Koidu Girls Secondary School, President Julius Maada Bio told the people of Kono District that when he said during his campaign that when he attained office, he would provide free quality education for pupils, the opposition parties propagated it negatively. This President Bio said was well planned to correct the political injustice of Sierra Leoneans by contributing to the people's capital development, making sure that they lay the foundation. He said the core textbooks and other learning materials are another major component of the free quality education. As a responsible government, they went all out to secure money for the project. President Bio appealed to parents and other authorities in the district to give chance to the young girls to be educated and stop the habit of engaging them into early marriage.
Early marriage, we give you the dowry for a day. But an educated child, girl child, will give you a living for a life. a livelihood, and you, the parent, maybe it is actually going to lift you up out of poverty. As many of us who grew up from poor families have had to do for the rest of our family members. Those same grandchildren will be able to serve their communities, serve this nation, and the world at large.
After the launching of the core textbooks, President Julius Maada Bio and entourage visited the Sierra Leone People's Party office in Kwedu City, where he thanked supporters for electing him as President of the Republic of Sierra Leone and called on them to continue working in the interest of the party. He later visited the Kwedu Holdings mining company site, where he was updated about the operations of the mining company. In Makali, Kunikebari Chiefdom, Tonkolili District, President Julius Maada Bio commissioned a newly constructed community health center and rehabilitated staff quarters. The construction of the healthcare center was funded by DFID through the United Nations Population Fund UNFPA to provide services for maternal, newborn and child health in the Makali communities. The people of Makali were constrained in terms of medical service, but with the construction of the health center, they too will now benefit from government service delivery, especially pregnant women, nursing mothers, and children under 5. The Minister of Health and Sanitation, Dr. Alpha Uri, said. Dr. Uri disclosed that the free healthcare drugs are being provided in health centers to provide treatment for pregnant women, lactating mothers, and under 5s. President Julius Maada Bio commended DFID and United Nations Population Fund for the provision of the healthcare center, as health is one of his main priorities on the New Direction agenda. Health is also another major component of human capital development, and he will make sure his administration provides the necessary tools and supports to get a healthy nation, the president said. He called on the people to make use of the facility to reduce maternal and child morbidity.
Of course, we've launched the free quality education, and DFID is also a part of that. And now we want to pay more attention to the health component of human capital development. So for me, human capital means that we have to take care of the health system and also make sure that there is food security while giving quality education. When the three are together, then we can develop, enhance the human being. That is when the human capital is complete and ready and fit for purpose in the 21st century. I have the honor and pleasure to formally open this facility on behalf of the people of this country and to say thank you to them.
Family planning and sexual reproductive health technical specialist of the United Nations Population Fund, Dr. Abiodun Chris Oyeyipo, explained that the Makali Community Health Center will serve a population of over 7,000 and provides a 24-hour service. SLBC TV News Eye in Freetown, Hawamosiri reporting.
The Minister of Health and Sanitation, Dr. Alpha Tijan Gori, has described the donation of 293 motorbikes, 220 solar refrigerators, and the commissioning of 12 ambulances as a start of the strengthening of chiefdom medical services. He made a statement during the donation of motorbikes to the Ministry of Health by UNICEF and the commissioning of 12 ambulances at the National Emergency Operations Center, Wilkinson Road. Joseph Stanley reports.
According to Dr. Ui, thousands of people are residing in chiefdom and that the ministry must be able to provide services to them. He added that the first line services is immunization, as it is in line with the strengthening of the chiefdom medical services, noting that the maternal child health and community health workers are two layers that are dealing with maternal child health aides and community health workers.
The first frontline service must be immunization. That is why I want you all to see the value of this program as strengthening of chiefdom medical service and in particular for us to restart the whole program by strengthening the immunization service. Because I want us to now know that this is the strengthening of chiefdom medical service, in which one, we go for immunization, two, we go for outreach service within the chiefdoms. And the third issue is what cannot be handled in the chiefdom, to be able to do a referral to the chiefdom headquarters, secondary hospital.
The health minister disclosed that 4 ambulances will be equipped for outreach, dentistry and ENT, as these services are not available in the regions, especially at chiefdom level. He said the health insurance scheme can only commence when the ministry provides services, especially acceptable services at chiefdom level. The UNICEF Health Manager Yuki Suhiru said the donation came as a result of a request made by the ministry to Gavi to strengthen health system, and that part of the package was the provision of mobility, solar refrigerator, refrigerated trucks, and payment of incentives to health workers.
Part of that proposal was the provision of motorbikes, mobility for health workers, basically, in hard-to-reach communities to ensure immunization services reaches every child regardless of where he or she was born or lives. The request was approved by Gavi for procurement of 293 units of motorcycles.
She informed the gathering that Sierra Leone was recognized among 7 countries in the West and Central Africa region that did well in immunization performance, but noted that the measles outbreak and low vaccination rates will affect the routine immunization coverage. The chairman Parliamentary Committee on Health, Honorable Moses Bimba Joki, referred to the ceremony as a laudable venture geared towards improving health service delivery, particularly at chiefdom level. The program manager, Expanded Program on Immunization, Dr. Tom Sisi, said the motorbikes will be used primarily to ensure that immunization services are brought closer to the people in hard-to-reach communities.
The Minister of Works and Public Assets has concluded a 3-day retreat with development partners and sponsors on the road sector held at Beacon Lodge in Bo City. This is the first retreat under the new direction for stakeholders within the road sector to come up with proposals and recommendations that will benefit the country. Stakeholders from the Ministry of Finance, Works and Housing, Roads Authority, Roads Maintenance Fund Administration, Sierra Leone Institute of Engineers and Road for Development were in attendance. Here's the report read by Ibrahim Samura.
Works and Public Assets Minister Raymond D'Souza John, in his keynote address, informed development partners that since the inception of his ministry, this is the first time that the ministry has organized such a retreat for key stakeholders within the road sector in order to come up with proposals and recommendations that will be benefits to the nation. He pointed out that this is now the time for the road sector to come together and better sensitize and educate the public on the good aspects of this sector. The minister pointed out that all Sierra Leoneans must now think positively with the notion of what they can now do for Sierra Leone to forge ahead with the new direction. He lauded all stakeholders who made it possible to attend the retreats and brought out brilliant ideas and solutions for progress of this sector. The Office of the Presidential Infrastructure Initiative Advisor, Dr. John Tambi, informed development partners that he was so impressed with the initiative of the Ministry of Works and Public Assets for the timely retreats on the road sector. He mentioned that this will help create and improve better planning and with the implementation of some projects, especially the Lunge Bridge. The Works and Public Assets Deputy Minister Melrose Kabu stated that the retreat was so useful that would certainly build on their skills, destiny, and good working relationship. She added that the retreat will also strengthen the organizational goals and improve on communication skills for service delivery. Senior Permanent Secretary, who doubles as Chairman Prince Cole, informed development partners with wealth of experience over the resource persons and facilitators he is optimistic that this sector would be transformed within the shortest possible time. Presentations were also made by the Minister of Finance, Sierra Leone Roads Authority, Road Maintenance Fund Administration, Sierra Leone Road Safety Authority, Sierra Leone Institute of Engineers, and Road for Development organizations.
The Independent Media Commission has raised concern on allegations and counter-allegations on alleged assaults of an AYV journalist and some AYV journalists in Makeni and death threats against BBC reporter Umaru Fofana both on social media and on the mainstream. This concern was raised in a recent press issued by the Commission, in which it called on all parties to formally channel their complaints to the Commission. The IMC release condemns all forms of attacks and threats on journalists and called on all parties to exercise restraint and to stop the use of inflammatory language as the Commission continues to engage all parties for a speedy resolution of the matter. A group of national and international non-governmental organizations has raised concern on certain provisions on the Development Cooperation Framework. It says the provisions are not in the best interest of non-governmental organizations and asks government to review the policy. The call was made at a press conference held at SLAG office on Campbell Street. Daphne Kiva-Macaulay filed in this report.
The issues of all assistance channeled through NGOs must be aligned to national priorities. All development projects must be submitted to and cleared by the Sector Ministry and Ministry of Planning. Mandatory signing of service level agreements with sector ministries are some of the provisions that these groups of national and international non-governmental organizations are not satisfied with. According to the Executive Director, Center for Accountability and the Rule of Law, Ibrahim Tomi, these provisions restrict the work of non-governmental organizations. He said during the state's opening of Parliament, President Bio promised to work with non-governmental organizations to support his administration.
While we remain committed to support this government, this development cooperation framework does more harm to our current space. Already, as Masla said, the space has been constricted. There's a lot that needs to change for our space to be what it is supposed to be. This development cooperation framework, which has not been passed by Cabinet, if allowed to develop into an act of Parliament, is going to make it almost impossible for us to work in the way that we work best.
Executive Director Campaign for Good Governance Marcella Sambasise also frowns at these provisions in the Development Cooperation Framework.
The spirit behind our dissatisfaction, putting our dissatisfaction on the table, it's not that we do not want to be accountable as organizations. That's far from it. We are saying that we have a right to association. And so, there are a number of provisions in the DCF that contravenes the very operation and the very spaces we should occupy as civil society organizations in Sierra Leone.
The provisions that mandate membership of the Sierra Leone Association of Non-Governmental Organizations, a requirement for NGO registration, is one that both the national and international non-governmental organizations are not satisfied with. These civil society organizations are calling on government to review the Development Cooperation Framework document. For SLBC News, Daphne Kiva-Macaulay reporting.
The Executive Director of Civil Rights Coalition has called for legislation on cybersecurity. Alfonso Mali was speaking at a one-day symposium organized by Civil Rights Coalition and the National Telecommunications Commission on the prevention of cybercrime and data protection. Doreen Barry was at the Atlantic Hall of the National Stadium, and she now reports.
Cybercrime becomes a threat to society, the one-day forum is for civil society activists and stakeholders in the communications industry to discuss ways on how to combat cybercrime. It could be recalled that since the emergence of social media, there have been a series of incidents of cybercrime in Sierra Leone. The executive director of Civil Rights Coalition, Alfonso Manley, said the symposium was to look at possible ways to prevent cybercrime activities in the country. He called for the enactment of legislation to monitor cybercrime, as that would bring culprits to book. Commended the National Telecommunications Commission for sharing their expertise to combat cybercrime, data collection, and prevent SIM-box fraud. Deputy Director of the National Telecommunications Commission, Daniel Kaitibi, described cybercrime as a threat towards the country's economy. He said the Commission has over the years received complaints from the public about cybercrime. He frowned against practice of identity, SIM-box fraud, and cybercrime, adding that anyone caught will face the full force of the law. Deputy Head Scientific Support Department of the Sierra Leone Police, Superintendent Temu Sise, said in 2009 the Sierra Leone Police established the Cybercrimes Department to investigate and address such incidents. He cited online banking, SIM-box, and mobile money transfer frauds as key among the prevalent cases of cybercrimes reported to them. Superintendent Sise said political rivalry, unemployment, jealousy, and hatred are some of the contributing factors responsible for cybercrime. Commissioner of the National Telecommunications Commission, Robert Kagbo, lauded the effort of the Sierra Leone Civil Rights Coalition for the move.
Following a press release from the Guma Valley Water Company on the rationing of water supply in the municipality, the acting managing director of Guma, Mada Penge, has said that they are satisfied with the way the supply of water is going on. Aruna Kamara filed in this story.
City continues. Some people have been complaining of not getting the supply the way it was stated in the press release, while some are commending Guma for meeting its targets. According to the acting managing director, Guma Valley Water Company, Mada Penge, the supply is going on well. He said even though there were some leakages due to burst pipes in some communities, they are doing their best to ensure they solve those problems gradually.
The key result that we've been able to achieve is the fact that now we can send water all the way to Wellington, which we haven't been able to do before. So pressures in the system and the pipelines have gone up. So areas where we're not experiencing leakages before, we're seeing leakages, which we're trying to address. But the leakages are really quite a bit all over the place. We have a few challenges. The main challenge being certain communities were actually experiencing low pressure in certain communities, particularly Aberdeen, along Wikinsu Road, particularly the upper part of Wikinsu Road, yes. But we understand, we have understood what's happening, and we're trying to do the necessary things to boost our pressures in this area.
He said the 2 weeks pilot program will be extended to 1 month, as they are planning to do replacement of the plastic pipe to minimize water leakages.
Because now the pressure is high, the pressure of the water is high in the system, leakages are much more serious. So that in some communities is affecting water supply to those communities. Then there's a technical challenge with Aberdeen, Moritown, and communities along Wikinsu Road. We don't have a line valve. I mean, if to be technical a little bit, we don't have a line valve that we can shut. The line valve that's there is defective. We cannot operate it. But if we had a line valve, say by the Peace Bridge, we can shut that one and boost pressures. So that's one of the issues we're contending with now. So we're trying to find ways and means around that.
He assured the public of Guma commitment to improve on the supply of water to the municipality. Mariam Sharif, a resident at Charles Street, commended Guma for providing water for them.
For the past weeks now, we are not having problem with water supply. We just hope and pray it continues like this.
As the work and engagement to tackle the problem of water supply in the municipality continues, more solutions are on the way to meet the demand of water supply. Auna Patrick Kamara, News Hour.
The Parliamentary Subcommittee on Tertiary Education has summoned the contractor and the project consultant for the construction of the Institute of Technical and Higher Education in Samalen, Chiefdom, Pujang District. The committee made this call during an inspection visit together with the Ministry of Technical and Higher Education to Samalen. Mama Sumawetula.
Speaking to residents of Samalen, Chairman Parliamentary Subcommittee on Tertiary Education, Honorable Almami Kamara, said that initially their visit was for the contractors to hand over the institution to the ministry, for them in turn to hand it over to the people. He noted that upon their arrival, they made an inspection visit, but unfortunately they found out that the construction was not completed and some of the facilities that were supposed to be in the institution were not there. Honorable Almami Kamara urged the residents to be patient so that the right thing will be done, and that's why they have summoned the contractors and project consultants to produce the project documents so that they will see the facility for the institution.
The outcome of that inspection is not satisfying for us to allow them to hand over the premises to the people. So we have decided to invite the parties concerned, the consultants, the contractors, and the ministry, for us to be able to access the contract documents, to know the scope of works, and then revisit for another verification before we can just hand over.
Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Technical and Higher Education, Gilbert Cooper, informed the gathering that the project consultant informed the ministry that the work had completed and they want to hand over the institution to the ministry. He said after a series of engagement with them and confirmation that everything was done, which they found out to be untrue. Mr. Cooper said they have decided to form a stakeholder committee that will be monitoring the work and report to Parliament when the work is properly done.
Call it a reality check if you like. The contractors and particularly the consultants who are in charge of those contractors did tell us in a catalogue of correspondences that the job was a done deal, and they were inviting us so that they will come and just hand over the facility to us, and we can in turn hand over the facility to the community people. But when we arrived at Samale this morning, to be specific, at about 11 o'clock, we realized that some aspects of the job were still outstanding. So, as such, we had consultations with the Oversight Committee of Parliament in charge of technical and higher education, and the stakeholder parliamentarians from Pujang districts to map the way forward. And in that particular consultative meeting, we came to the conclusion that the best we can do in the circumstance is one, to have a stakeholder committee responsible for overseeing the completion of the facility.
Chiefdom Speaker, Samalen Chiefdom Shengbe Robert Moigo, said they were not happy about what happened as they have waited so long for the institution to start operating.
I feel a bit sad because I've been expecting much today. I was informed by the Permanent Secretary, Minister for Higher Education, Technical Vocational Institute.
Okay.
He told me they were coming today to let the contractors hand over to government the institution. But most unfortunately, it did not be. Later I learned that the work is not properly to their taste. And even with us here.
He said the local authorities were not involved in the process, but that with the committee said they will be able to monitor the whole process. For SLBC News, Maria Masuma reporting.
Love One Another campaign in Sierra Leone has trained some youths in Bo on different skills. According to the founder and executive director of Love One Another campaign, the training will foster cooperation and love amongst Sierra Leoneans. Rose Konima Stevens reports.
Love One Another Campaign Sierra Leone is an organization that influences the Sierra Leonean society to inculcate the attitude of love by introducing, disseminating, and promoting godly principles and practices. The founder and executive director of Love One Another Campaign, Dr. Christian Tilibel, informed SLBC that his organization promotes the love of God to all by all available means in order to help people direct their energies from destructive practices to constructive and productive activities. Love One Another Campaign Sierra Leone, Dr. Bell said, provides support in the areas of health, food and non-food items for vulnerable groups, noting that the 20 students graduating will be provided with startup tools to ease their job.
In the campaign, we have identified 3 things that are very predominant in this nation at the moment. The first is hate speech. The second is violence. And the third is exploitation. We need to campaign against these 3. Right now, there are people campaigning against violence, yes. But there is no one campaigning against exploitation. And we believe that exploitation is the root of all ills in our society.
The keynote speaker, Mrs. Catherine Silla, praised the efforts of the campaign, noting among other things that the beneficiaries should go out and be role models.
You have both formal and informal education. And anybody who gets any of those two, you are educated in your own respect. Today we are gathered here for celebrate with you young women and girls because you have been empowered.
State and non-state actors at the program expressed appreciation to the officials of Love One Another campaign for providing training and startup kits for the participants, noting that other well-meaning Sierra Leoneans should also emulate the campaign's examples by providing for the less privileged in the society. Reporting for SLBC TV, Rose Konima Stevens.
A new telecoms service provider, K3, has started operations in Sierra Leone. The new broadband service will provide multiple channels on its own broadband telecommunications network. Princess Gibson was at the launch of the operations held at its headquarters on Wilkinson Road.
K3 Telecom Service provides over 100 channels with bundled service in mobile television and videos on demand. The digital program will provide extended insight into television and content.
It's a premium channel list that will be provided to each and every subscriber. Let me just to clarify something. You cannot come into K3 Telecom and say, I want only TV. The services are bundled. So once you get one, you get all the rest. Okay, so it's a full package, one solution for your house, your business, it doesn't matter.
Mohamed Naskala noted that they have surveyed the markets to meet demands of the markets.
The market is ready for something like this. Specifically, look, we did a market study comparing prices of what is available in the market. Nobody provides you all 3 services, correct? But what I did a market study for prices of internet on average, plus prices of TV, plus voice over IP services. The minimum available is over $200. We are less than half that price.
CEO of K3 Telecom, Uros Malka, maintained that K3 Telecom Service is not a mobile service provider, but provides network of channels. He said the telecom service brings new technology to the market with new quality of internet service. K3 Telecom will operate in customer service centers operated by a team of Sierra Leonean consultants. Princess Gibson, SLBC News.
A philanthropist, Jamil Nyanga and Jawad Foundation have distributed school bags containing learning materials such as exercise books, pens, pencils, erasers, sharpeners and rulers to some 80 pupils from 4 different primary schools in Kenema. Formally distributing the items at KDMC Primary School campus at Moiro Street, the focal person in Kenema for Jamil Nyanga and Jawad Foundation, Margaret Su, said she got the items from the national coordinator of the foundation, Reverend Josephine Bankole. She said the aim of the donation is to contribute to the free education, especially by providing learning materials. She told parents that similar support is being given to other pupils in other parts of the country. Inspector of Schools Kenema District, Prince Gebe, lauded the efforts of Jamil Nyanga and Jawad Foundation in supporting the free quality education and appealed to other philanthropists to emulate the good example of the foundation. A solar-powered borehole well project meant for the blind and polio communities in the Grafton community has been carted away by thieves. Thieves dismantled the network set up by Water Solution Project but implemented by the African Muslim Development Agency. The blind and polio communities in Grafton have been in dire need of clean drinking water for some time now. Soriba Samura reports.
The Educational Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired and Polio Challenge Camp in Grafton have been advocating for clean drinking water in their various campuses. The Executive Director of Educational Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired, Thomas Aliu, presented a project to alleviate the suffering of the blind and polio communities in Grafton Village to the Ministry of Water Resources, which was sent to the African Muslim Development Agency for funding. According to the principal and founder of the Center for the Blind Grafton, Thomas Aliu, he recalled some 10 odd years ago when they used to hire sighted people to fetch water for the blind students, adding that this is not the first time thieves have carted away with property belonging to the blind school at Grafton.
You know, the activities of the thieves, let it not be an hindrance to the progress of what already we've started. I know there are people who do not have vision for this country, but I believe the Muslim Agency has vision for this country, the Ministry of Resources, the Ministry of Water Resources has vision for this country, and the government as a whole, they are determined to help Sierra Leone to a higher height. I want them to continue.
As a result of these ugly incidences, he called on government for the fencing of the compound of Educational Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired and Polio Challenge Camp, which he believes would deter future theft cases. Haja Vandi, a parent and resident of Grafton, said, "News of the removal of the taps from the water kiosks set up in the community was unfortunate, as lack of water in their community has a huge toll on school-going children because they have to queue to fetch water." Aisha Toure is a Form 2 pupil of Joshua International Secondary School at Grafton. She is worried that what the thieves did to the project will cause a lot of suffering on fellow pupils in the community. The project is due for handover to the Grafton community on Tuesday, 22nd January. But the question is, will the solar panels be safe in an open installation site? Soriba Samura, SLBC News, Freetown.
Two communities in Potloko district are to benefit from a 2-year pilot project from Action from Advocacy and Development Sierra Leone. The launching of the Community Managed Disaster Risk Reduction Project, supported by COD Aid Sierra Leone, took place at the Lonsar Town Hall. COD Aid Sierra Leone is rolling out programs on disaster risk reduction, and their resilience unit is assisting vulnerable people and communities to become more resilient to disaster. Abubakar Khan was there and he sent in this report read in our studios by Soriba Samra. Well, we'll bring you that story in our subsequent editions of Newshour. As a way of maintaining clean and conducive learning environment, a non-profitable community-based organization in Kuntolo, Go Green family on Saturday embarked on a cleaning exercise at the Annie Walsh Memorial Secondary School at Kisiod. Mohamed Lamintue was there and
Go Green Family Kuntolo is a newly formed community-based organization in the Kuntolo community which seeks to support the efforts of others for progress and sustainable development in all aspects of human life in the community and the nation as a whole. The name Go Green is derived from environmental issues like climate condition, global warming and agriculture. The project coordinator Jabati Jawa said the organization is presently engaged in a flagship program in relation to the promotion of hygiene, sanitation and environmental protection issues in community schools. They have conducted cleaning exercise over the past 5 months in some community schools like Sierra Leone Muslim Congress Primary and Secondary Schools, Kankere Islamic Secondary and Primary School, Charity Primary and Secondary School, and Methodist Boys High School in the east end of Freetown. This time, they decided to clean other schools outside their community like the Annie Walsh Memorial Secondary School.
If we talk about the Go Green, we are talking about the vegetation. The lands we are using today are destroyed by logging, mining, illegal mining and deforestation. So we just take the name Go Green so that we will complement, or it will represent the kind of activity we want to embark on. That is agriculture and environmental issues.
He added that despite their efforts in cleaning schools around their community, they are challenged with trucks to clear the piles of garbage after the cleaning exercise. He said, for now, they hire trucks to pick up the dirt after cleaning exercise. Mr. Jawa said they rely on contribution of members to buy tools to clean and hire trucks. The project coordinator thanked the Environmental Protection Agency for providing wheelbarrows and shovels for them. He called on other organizations to help promote the agenda of the organization. For SLBC News, Mohamed Lamintue reporting.
The newly appointed Managing Director of Orwell Insurance Company Limited, Raymond Macaulay, has been presented to the board, management, shareholders and staff during a cocktail dinner. The cocktail dinner, which was held at the Golden Tulip Kimbima Hotel, Aberdeen, was also in honor of the outgoing Managing Director, Solomon Samba. Ibrahim Samura reports.
Orwell Insurance Company was formed in November 1986 following the closure of 2 British insurance companies operating in Sierra Leone. The Lion Insurance Company Limited, which was formerly called the Guardian Royal Exchange, and the Northern Assurance Company. It is the first indigenous public liability company. As he bids farewell, Solomon James Samba was the second managing director of the company. The outgone managing director, Solomon Samba, said he served the company for over 30 years, noting that he joined Orwell Insurance Company in 1987 as senior underwriting manager and took over as managing director in 1996, during difficult times in the country. He said during his tenure, the company made significant achievements and that Orwell Insurance Company is one of the leading insurance brokers in the insurance industry in the country. Mr. Solomon Samba welcomed the newly appointed managing director and told the Guardian that he is pleased to retire after his dedicated services to the company, saying he is leaving the company with an impressive balance sheet.
To my colleagues, as I leave, we will continue to live on my memories. I'll always remember the good times, the not so good times, and the challenging times. Looking back, I wish to recall 2 significant periods that defined my career as an insurance practitioner. The first is the establishment of Orwell Insurance in 1987. And the second is my appointment as managing director in 1996. I am indeed proud to be a part of the setting up of Orwell Insurance Company. The vision of the founding fathers was to establish a truly Sierra Leonean company.
The newly appointed managing director of oil insurance company Raymond Macaulay thanked his predecessor, Mr. Solomon Samba, for his dedicated service to the company and that he will continue where Mr. Samba left. He promised to take the company to higher heights. Mr. Raymond Macaulay joined the company as a clerk in 1990 and later worked in the underwriting and life department and rose through the ranks until his appointment as the new managing director of the company. He is presently the president of the Sierra Leone Insurance Association and member of the governing council of the West African Insurance Institutes. Raymond Macaulay promised to manage the affairs of the company professionally and improve on the shareholders' wealth.
Now for some entertainment news. The entertainment industry in Sierra Leone is making its mark, but some school of thought remains skeptical on the level of improvement in the sector. SLBC's entertainment desk takes a look at the country's entertainment industry by seeking views of some citizens across the city, for which we now join Millicent Lunga.
Ushering in 2019, the entertainment industry is now taking another level and drawing the attention of most Sierra Leoneans. In 2018, the entertainment industry was in disarray that led to the drop-in of music in particular, leading to the downfall of the entertainment industry. Entertainers, cassette sellers, and even artists explained their views on the industry. Sheikh Ojuku Kamara, the vice president of Sierra Leone Compact Disc Sellers Association, said that the industry in 2018 was poor due to some artists that composed negative songs that had no meaning with less professionalism.
The industry, like, it's not moving. We have a problem in the industry, like some artists are doing their songs. Some songs are not for people to listen. That's the thing I'm saying, right?
He said Sierra Leonean artists should make sure that their songs are well compiled so that it will not be difficult to sell. At the end of 2018, Sierra Leonean music took another dimension, and there is hope that in 2019 there will be improvement in the entertainment industry. Mohamed Kanu, commonly known as Delex the Mentor, a hip-hop artist, said for the past years, Sierra Leonean music entertainment had not grown due to piracy and other factors. He maintained that in Sierra Leone, the system of poor marketing has made the industry collapse and needs more room for improvement as much is expected to work towards international standards. He continued that music should be taken as a priority in the country because it is a way of disseminating messages to the populace. Aliyu Valentino Jallo, a phone seller who is also an entertainer, said at the moment the entertainment industry is trying in terms of good songs, but the engineers need to improve on the work as well as the artists, as he wants Sierra Leone to compete with other countries as a way of bringing development to the country. Benzema Karim Ovic said, some artists just sing because they want to be famous and be recognized as artists in the industry. He advised that they need to stop because entertainment is not all about fame, but creativity and raising the flag high. Mohamed Kamara, a cassette seller at PZ, said that the sale of foreign music is by far greater than the local music. He said more attention is needed in the entertainment industry as foreign songs are given more time, attention. Their engineers are always prepared to work for their artists. He called on the government and other stakeholders to come on board so that they can improve on the entertainment industry for Sierra Leone to compete with other countries in terms of entertainment. Entertainers are expecting much this 2019 so that the flag of Sierra Leone can be raised high, as it is one of the means of disseminating information worldwide.
Many thanks to Millicent Lunge for the entertainment news and her producer King Milan. Now let's join our sports desk.
It's a hearty welcome to Sports Update on News Hour. In this edition, female football stakeholders across Sierra Leone have ended a one-day workshop on the development of female football in the country. The forum, which was held at the Bo National Stadium, focused on the problems and how to map out solutions to revive female football in Sierra Leone. Here is a report. Although equality in sports may seem trivial alongside the wider issues faced by women in society, how women viewed themselves, how they move and interact with their bodies says much about their position into the society. In Sierra Leone, according to participants, much has not been done in promoting female football. Team manager of Sierra Leone national under-20 female team, Ramatu Kamara, said they are ready and prepared to promote female football in the country, noting that female football has been lagging behind for a very long time. According to some of the participants, indiscipline by some female players, club owners failing to register their clubs to the Football Association, financial constraints, lack of management at team level are some of the factors responsible for the problems faced by female administrators. Chief Executive Officer of Mahmoud FC, Mahmoud Kago, who also doubles as National Coordinator of female football teams, said they decided to champion this cause because they want to resurrect female football in the country.
To communicate to all female coordinators or all female administrators to be here today so that we can sit and discuss the problems and find a better solution for female football in this country. There are so many problems, but we have highlighted some of them and we have take them down, which we want to present to the Minister of Sports for this country and the Sierra Leone Football Association so that it can help us solve this problem so that we can get a better female football in this country.
He called on female football stakeholders to stay away from the football politics in the country. During the meeting, it was suggested that the Sierra Leone Football Association should budget for female football leagues. There should be rules and regulations for female referees and coaches, and players should be signed and cared for, among others. Esther Marie Samora, SLBC TV. And in mini league, the Mansoula Central One Football Association non-division football competition has commenced at the St. Joseph's playing field in Lungay. In the opening ceremony, Stock FC had a 1-0 draw with defending champions, that is Baranta FC. Details of that story will meet you in a subsequent program. That's all for sports tonight. I am Esther Marie Samora. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, many thanks, Esther, and I'm sure Baranta FC will win that match. Now, to end news are the main points again. President Bio has launched the distribution of free education core textbooks in Kono District. Gavi Fund through UNICEF has supported the Ministry of Health and Sanitation with solar refrigerators and ambulances. The civil society activists have called for legislation on cybersecurity in Sierra Leone. Parliament summoned contractors and project consultant for the construction of a technical institute in Kujaru district. Many thanks for being with us tonight. Thanks for watching. Good night.